While I was making dinner, I overheard my husband on speakerphone with his mom. She said, "We'll never accept her. We just tolerate her for your sake." He didn't defend me. He just said, "I know." I finished cooking, set the table, and served their favorite meal. Then I sat down and said, "Enjoy this. It's the last time I feed anyone who thinks I'm disposable." I'm 41, married 12 years. My husband Trevor is 44. We live just outside Fort Worth, Texas. No kids. Tried for years. It didn't happen. That's its own kind of grief, but we made peace with it. Or at least I thought we did. The real problem? His family never liked me. I saw it from day one. Especially his mom, Doreen. From the first handshake, I felt it. Tight-lipped smiles, fake compliments, the way she'd turn her back when I walked into a room. At first, I told myself I was imagining things. I thought maybe she was just protective, that it would pass. So I tried. Hard. Brought dishes to family holidays, laughed at stories I didn't care about, helped her out when she was sick, remembered everyone's birthdays. Didn't matter. She never said anything outright cruel. But it was the little things, introducing me as Trevor's wife like I was some stranger, complimenting my cooking but then adding, "It's not how I do it," smiling while digging the knife in. Trevor always brushed it off. "She's just like that. She does it to everybody." But she didn't. She only did it to me. I spent years making excuses for her. For him, too. Then came the night it all broke. It was a Tuesday. I'd taken the day off. I was making a full dinner, pork chops with apples, garlic mashed potatoes, green beans with bacon, cornbread just like his mom used to make. I figured I'd surprise him. I was at the stove, stirring the beans, when I heard his phone ring in the other room. He answered it on speaker. It was Doreen. At first, I didn't pay attention. But then I heard her say, "I just want to remind you, Trevor will never accept her. We just tolerate her for your sake." My chest got tight. I expected him to say something, to tell her off, to defend me. Instead, all he said was, "I know." Calm. Quiet. Like it was normal. Like that was just a truth he lived with. I didn't move. I didn't cry. I just kept cooking. Finished the potatoes. Took the cornbread out of the oven. Set the table, plated everything neatly. I called him to eat. He sat down like nothing happened, smiling, making small talk, thanking me for the food. That's when I looked him in the eye and said, "Enjoy this. It's the last time I feed anyone who thinks I'm disposable." He blinked. "What's that supposed to mean?" "I heard the call," I said. "I heard what she said, and I heard you agree with her." He went pale. "It's not like that. You didn't defend me, Trevor. You let her tear me down and said nothing." He started fumbling. "It's complicated. She's old. She's always had strong opinions." I didn't let him finish. "She doesn't get to hate me and get my cornbread, too." I stood up, walked to the bedroom, and locked the door. That night, I lay on top of the bed, in my jeans, staring at the ceiling while he slept on the couch. He didn't come knocking, didn't say sorry. That told me everything. The next morning, I packed a bag and drove to my sister's place in Waco. I didn't answer his texts. I needed time to think. Time away from the house, from the silence, from everything. But it wasn't just space I needed. I needed a plan. Because after 12 years of biting my tongue, I wasn't just going to walk away. Not quietly. Not after all I'd given. I wasn't disposable. She wanted to be the only woman in his life? Fine. I was going to make sure she got exactly what she wanted. The first 3 days at my sister's place were quiet. I stayed in the guest room. Barely came out except to eat. She didn't push me for answers, just left me alone with a soft blanket and hot tea. That silence helped me think. I kept replaying his words. "I know." Not "don't say that," not "you're wrong," just "I know." It made me sick. But not just because he agreed. It was the way he agreed, tired, like he'd stopped fighting for me a long time ago. And I started asking myself, how long has he really felt that way? I dug deeper. I started thinking about the last couple of years. The way he stopped holding my hand in public. The way he'd let his mom interrupt me and never say a word. The holidays where she got a gift from him and I didn't. The way he'd conveniently forget our anniversary last year, but remembered his mom's birthday down to the minute. I was the outsider in my own marriage, and I had been for a long time. But here's the twist. While I was gone, Trevor started texting more, then calling, then emailing. His tone shifted from defensive to panicked. Can we talk? Don't throw everything away. I miss you. He even sent me a photo of the empty dinner table with a sad face emoji like I was supposed to melt. Then, 2 days later, I got a text that stopped me cold. My mom moved in. Just for a few weeks. I didn't want to be alone. Oh, that's how fast I was replaced? 12 years and she moved in within days? I called him. He answered immediately. Are you serious? I asked. She's just helping out. I've been down since you left, he said. It's temporary. You didn't even ask me, I said. You just moved her into our home? You weren't here, he said. I didn't know if you were coming back. And that's when it clicked. He never expected me to come back. Not really. He thought I'd leave like a hurt dog, maybe bark a little, then disappear. He thought I'd stay gone and leave him with clean hands and a fully stocked fridge. But I had something else in mind. So I told him, okay, she's moved in. Got it. I'll be back soon to get my things. He paused. You're coming home? No, I said. Just to collect what's mine. He started to say something, but I hung up. I needed to be smart. Careful. Quiet. I called a lawyer that day. The next step wasn't just divorce. It was exposure. Because the more I thought about it, the more I realized I wasn't the only one she had poisoned. Doreen had been sticking her nose into our finances too. Trevor had made some shady money moves lately. Closed a joint account, moved money to a family trust I'd never heard of. And suddenly I had questions. Where was that money really going? So while I waited for my lawyer to pull the banking records, I started talking to my coworkers, to old friends of Trevor's, even his cousin Clay, who never liked Doreen. And the stories started spilling out. Turns out, Trevor and his mom had been working behind my back in more ways than one. Clay was the one who cracked it open. He met me at a diner halfway between Fort Worth and Waco, sat across from me in a worn baseball cap, and said, I probably shouldn't be telling you this, but you deserve to know. I braced myself. He slid a folder across the table, printed screenshots, bank transfers, a couple of legal-looking forms. Trevor's been moving money into a family trust. Yeah, Clay said. But you're not listed on it. Just him and Doreen. No one else. My stomach dropped. That's our retirement money, I whispered. He pulled it out of our account last year, said he was moving it to get a better interest rate. Clay nodded. That's what he told me too. Said he and his mom were going in on a rental property deal. But the papers say it's just them. You're not even named. My ears started ringing. So, if he dies tomorrow, I said, everything goes to her? Pretty much, Clay said. And if you two divorce, you'll have to fight tooth and nail to prove you were entitled to any of it. Trusts are hard to crack, especially ones set up for family legacy. I stared at the folder, then at Clay. How long has this been going on? 1.5 years, maybe longer, he said. I thought you knew. Trevor made it sound like it was all above board. That's when the fog started clearing. This wasn't just betrayal. It was premeditated. They'd been carving me out of my own life. Financially. Emotionally. Quietly setting things up so when I left or was pushed out, I'd walk away empty-handed. That dinner I made? That last plate I served with shaking hands? They probably thought I was doing them a favor. Leaving with my pride and none of the paperwork. Not anymore. The next day, my lawyer filed a motion to freeze all marital assets. We subpoenaed the trust records, the bank statements, even emails between Trevor and Doreen. Turns out, they'd been emailing back and forth about getting things in place before she finds out. She. Me. They didn't use my name. Just she. But the worst was one message from Doreen, sent just 3 weeks before the speakerphone call. Make sure she doesn't get the house. She didn't earn it. She's not a real wife if she can't give you children. That line, that disgusting, cold-blooded sentence burned through me. I printed it out, highlighted it. I wanted Trevor to see it. I wanted it burned into his memory. But I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to cry. I was going to do something better. While the legal side was moving forward, I started packing quietly. Not just clothes, documents, receipts, photos, anything that proved I'd built a life there. Then I staged one final visit to the house. Trevor wasn't home, but Doreen was. I let myself in with my key. She was sitting on the couch like she owned the place, remote in hand, some cable drama playing in the background. She looked up, smirked. Didn't think you had the nerve to come back. I dropped the folder on the coffee table. Sat across from her. That's proof of what you two did, I said. Emails. Trust documents. The plan to cut me out. She didn't flinch. You left, she said. That's not my fault. You never belonged here. I stared her dead in the face. You want him? You can have him. But you better be ready to support him. Because I just froze every account with both our names. And I'm not leaving quietly. She leaned forward. You can try. But at the end of the day, he'll always choose blood over some woman who couldn't give him a child. I didn't respond. I just smiled. Because I had one more move. One I hadn't told her or Trevor about yet. I had proof of a hidden account. One only Trevor had access to. One that didn't show up on any tax documents. I'd found it through an old spreadsheet he saved on our shared Google Drive. He thought it was deleted. It wasn't. And what he didn't know was that account had regular payments going to someone else. A woman. With a child. A child named TJ. I left Doreen on the couch with that smug little smile on her face, but she didn't know it was already over. I drove straight to my lawyer's office and handed over the last piece, a printed log of transfers, monthly payments to a woman named Grace, starting about 6 years ago. Same amount, same day each month. Sometimes labeled as help, sometimes just initials, TJ. I found her on Facebook. Grace Jensen. Lives in Denton, works part-time at a dental office. One son, 5 years old. His name? Trevor James Jensen. TJ. He looked just like Trevor when he was a kid. I found an old photo from Trevor's mom's hallway. Same dimples. Same eyes. I didn't even cry. I just went cold. He didn't just betray me emotionally. He didn't just let his mother treat me like garbage. He had a child. With another woman. While we were married. While I was grieving our infertility alone. He knew how much that hurt me. We did IVF twice. I sat in bathrooms crying over negative tests. He held me while I blamed myself. And all that time, he had a child across town. He knew he could have children. He just didn't tell me. That's not just cheating. That's cruelty. So I made sure everyone knew. My lawyer filed a full marital misconduct complaint with adultery listed. We subpoenaed Grace for testimony. She didn't even know he was still married. He'd told her we were separated for years. When I met her outside court, she looked at me like a deer in headlights. I had no idea, she whispered. I swear. I wouldn't have. I believed her. She looked broken too. Used. But I didn't forgive her. Not fully, because part of her had to know something was off. The court proceedings dragged for 3 months. Trevor tried to settle. Tried to beg. Left me voicemails crying, saying he just got confused, that he never meant to hurt me. I didn't respond. Not once. The court awarded me half of all marital assets, including interest on the trust he tried to hide from me. Turns out, The trust wasn't airtight. Because he funded it during our marriage, and in Texas, that meant I was still entitled to half. Even better? That secret account with the payments to Grace? It was registered under a business he formed under our shared address. That meant community property. That meant I could go after it. So I did. Trevor lost everything. The house, the savings, the rental property. The trust was liquidated to pay what he owed me. And Doreen? She had to move out of my house. Because once the judge ruled in my favor, I made sure the locks were changed before she even had a chance to collect her things. She stood in the driveway screaming while I watched from my car, sipping coffee, windows rolled up. Before I drove away, I got out and handed her something. A framed photo. From the court exhibits. It was a side-by-side, little T. J. and a young Trevor, same age. This is your real legacy, I said. You raised a liar, a coward, a cheater, and you'll die alone with him, just like you wanted. She slapped it out of my hand. I smiled, walked away. I won't lie and say I came out clean. I made mistakes. I stayed too long. I kept quiet. I let things slide I shouldn't have. I ignored the signs. But not anymore. I sold the house and moved to Asheville. Small town, new start. I sleep in peace now. I cook for myself. And I eat every bite. And sometimes, when I think back to that dinner, pork chops, green beans, cornbread, I smile. Because that was the night I stopped feeding people who thought I was disposable. And the night they learned I was anything but.